The 2023 Women's World Cup showed that the women's game can be very beautiful, but from teammates setting each other up for a beatdown to sleeping around with soccer legends, women's football certainly has its fair share of ugly moments. One of these moments involves Ada Hegerberg, who's definitely one of the greatest of all time. And when I say greatest, I mean at playing the game, not twerking live on stage. So what exactly am I talking about here? Well, Hegerberg was on fire in 2018 as she won the Champions League with Wolfsburg, as well as the Golden Boot in the same competition and in the German Women's League. With such accomplishments in a single year, nothing was going to stop her from winning the first ever Women's Ballon d'Or award. She did, and it was a truly special night for her, until the host of the award, DJ Martin Solveig, did the unthinkable in one of the most inappropriate moments in women's football history. After giving her acceptance speech, Hegerberg made her way off the stage, and that was when DJ Solveig stopped her and asked that she twerk for him, right there in front of a live audience. Of course, Hegerberg wasn't impressed with Solveig's request, and the look of disgust on her face seemed like she wanted to kick him right in the nuts for his silly request. But being the professional that she is, she politely turned him down. However, she offered to do a casual dance for the perverted DJ, just so the moment wouldn't get more awkward than it already was. Now, Solveig must have thought that was that, but it wasn't, because after the award ceremony, fans went on social media to drag the DJ for trying to get sexual with the Wolfsburg legend on live TV. Believe me when I say that the fans called him all sorts of names, many of which we can't even say in this video due to how downright vulgar they were. At this point, Solveig had come face to face with the consequences of his actions, and he thought he could calm things down by offering a lame apology. But bro, this is social media we're talking about, and they aren't gonna let you off the hook that easily. The torments continued for Solveig, up to the point where Hegerberg actually had to plead on his behalf and let the fans know that the DJ didn't mean any harm by asking her to twerk. She could be right though, because just months before, another female player, Lola Banta, had trended on social media for doing a provocative twerk. And while she did this on her own accord, the circumstances surrounding her actions were super disgusting. Just like Hegerberg, Labonta was also on a roll in 2018. She played for Kansas City and was by far their best player that season, as she led with both assists and goals. Now, there was an MLS match between Kansas City and Angel City, where things weren't going as planned. Kansas were tied, and they needed all 3 points on the night. Luckily for them, they were awarded a penalty in the 90th minute, and who else was going to take it besides Labonta? Kansas City's star player stepped up to take the kick, which she scored to send their fans into a frenzy. But their celebrations were cut short cause she didn't hit the subscribe button to our channel. Just kidding, bud, but you gotta subscribe to stay updated on great football content. When Labonta began clutching her hamstring and limping with great discomfort, this got the fans worried, and they didn't want to lose their key player to injury. The medics came rushing towards her, and just before they began treatment, Labonta did something that shocked the entire stadium. She let go of her hamstring and started twerking seductively by the touchline, much to the surprise of the fans. This left everyone with mixed feelings, because while some enjoyed Labonta's moment of suspense, others felt that faking an injury and getting everyone worried was downright unprofessional. In her own defense, Labonta revealed that she'd been planning that stunt for a long time. She also said that she thought the regular celebrations had become boring and that she just wanted to try something new. Well, her stunt certainly got everyone fooled, and her dance has been watched and replayed a gazillion times by her admirers for reasons you'll understand when you watch it for yourself. One man who couldn't fool anyone, even with his charming smile and professional appearance, is former PSG women's coach Dieur Oay Nicole. Sure, he did great things with the team, as he smashed Lyon's 14-year stronghold on the French Women's League by leading PSG to a long-overdue title. Although the dark revelations that would follow shortly after showed that Nicole was not the gentleman we all thought he was. He was accused of indecent behavior by some members of his team and the backroom staff. More specifically, he had developed a habit of touching the ladies on their butts, and up until it blew out of proportion, no one knew that such behind-the-scenes atrocities were taking place. Of course, PSG needed to take action, and that was when they decided to suspend Nicole, pending further investigation. And after a few court hearings and some meetings with the players, the club decided that the best thing to do was to let their title-winning coach go. What a shame this was, being that Nicole had helped them win the title that had eluded them for well over a decade. Talk about going from hero to zero. But if you think this is the biggest scandal in the history of the PSG women's team, then wait until you hear about this next incident that isn't just inappropriate but also deadly. This ugly moment involves Aminata Diallo and a player who everyone thought was her best friend, Dieur Oay. They both played in the midfield position for PSG in France, and judging by how much time they spent together, you could tell that there was a lot of mutual respect and healthy competition between them. However, things started to fall apart on the 4th of November 2021, when the ladies were on their way back from a team bonding exercise. Aminata offered to drive Dieur home, and that was when a strange vehicle ran into theirs, which prompted Aminata's car to come to a halt. A bunch of masked, scary-looking men hopped out of the car and went straight for Dieur, who they dragged out and beat across her knees with metal rods. Interestingly, the assailants didn't give a hoot about Aminata, as they concentrated all their efforts on Dieur, who at this point was badly beaten up in the knees. Looks suspicious, right? I mean, why was Dieur the only one being beaten up? Well, the police were invited to investigate the incident, and they were forced to arrest Aminata, who they had suspected of setting up her teammate Dieur. Of course, Aminata denied any involvement, and she was released after spending 2 days in the cooler. But after Dieur was questioned further as to why she was the only one attacked, a shocking revelation was made. The SIM card in Dieur's phone belonged to, guess who? Barcelona's legendary left-back Eric Abidal. That was when it was revealed that Dieur had a history of sleeping around with married men, and after the truth had come to light, Abidal himself admitted to his wife that indeed he and Dieur were having an affair. Now, at this point, all fingers began pointing at Abidal's wife as the one who sent the masked man to beat Dieur up. It made sense, right? F up the girl who's been creeping with my man. Well, Abidal's wife, who was already pissed off at the situation, denied all the accusations thrown her way, and police investigations continued. Meanwhile, both women had returned to action for PSG, and the fans who already knew what was going on began cheering for Aminata while booing Dieur, the husband snatcher. They did this every week, too, until one last shocking revelation was made. The police managed to catch the men involved in the assault, and they confessed that it wasn't Abidal's wife that sent them to beat up Dieur. Rather, it was her very own teammate, Aminata. As you would expect, Aminata was arrested again, and as the police took a look at her Google search history, they found out she'd been doing a lot of research on how to break a person's kneecap. Don't forget that the assailants concentrated their attacks on Dieur's kneecaps. Now, the question is, why would Aminata set up a person who was her close pal on and off the pitch? Well, the answer is simple. She and Dieur play the exact same position for PSG and the French women's football team. That means a lot of competition for playing time, and Aminata wasn't going to take any chances with her starting position. So, yeah, Aminata hired a bunch of goons to smash the hell out of Dieur's knees, and with her out of action, she'd be the first choice for both France and PSG. How sinister! But if we're gonna be talking about sinister moves, then you gotta click this video to check out the craziest goals in Champions League history.